Hello and welcome to Staffworks Explained. If you are here for the first time, please consider subscribing to this channel. You can watch other videos that we have done in different topics. In this video, we'll be talking about Thika's city bit, where we say it's a new name, or here we ask, is it a new name or a new future inside Kenya's next urban transformation? The road to Thika tells two stories. One is written in concrete, steel, and industry. Heavy trucks leave factories before dawn. Universities continue to draw thousands of students. New housing estates stretch further into what was once agricultural land. Every morning, streams of commuters move between Nairobi and Thika, reflecting an urban economy that has steadily expanded beyond its traditional municipal boundaries. The other story is unfolding in the chambers of the parliament. After years of lobbying by Kiambu County leaders, industrialists, as well as residents, Thika's long-standing ambition to become Kenya's next city has reached its most decisive stage yet. The Senate has approved the municipality application, as well as recommended that the resolution be forwarded to President William Ruto for the issuance of a city charter, which is a final legal instrument required under the Urban Areas and City Acts of 2021. If signed, Thika will become Kenya's sixth city, joining Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, and lately Eldoret. But beyond that symbolism lies more important questions. Does changing Thika's legal status fundamentally change the towns itself? Or does city status simply recognize an urban reality that has existed for years? The answers lie not in politics, but in planning, governance, economics, and the law. We start by saying that it's more than a title. City status is often misunderstood as an honorary designation bestowed upon a fast-growing town. Kenyan law says otherwise. Under the Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2021, of 2012 or 2011, thereabout, a municipality must certify a detailed set of legal, financial, as well as administrative and infrastructure requirements before it can be elevated into a city. The law places responsibility on the municipality, county government, senate, and ultimately the president, each playing a distinct role in determining whether a municipality has genuinely attained the capacity expected for a city. The process begins within municipality itself before moving through the county executive and an independent ad hoc committee comprising professionals drawn from planning, surveying, architecture, law, financing, as well as private sector. Their task is not merely procedural. It is to determine whether the municipality functions as a city in practice, not simply in population. Only after that assessment does the application move to the Senate, where public participation, physical inspection, committee review form part of the decision-making process before a recommendation reaches the president. Where is the process for Thika City? Where has it reached? For years, Thika's city campaign remained largely aspirational. That changed when Kiambu County formally submitted the application supported by proposed city charter and documentation demonstrating compliance with statutory requirements. The Senate Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations subsequently invited public submissions, conducted field inspection, and held public participation sessions within Thika before evaluating the municipality against legal criteria. The committee now has endorsed the application. Its recommendation has been adopted by the Senate and transmitted to the President for the issuance of a city charter. Legally, that charter is the final step. Once signed, Thika transitions from municipality to city, and that becomes official. Now, another question that arises: does this town or municipality, Thika, meet the legal threshold? Perhaps the strongest argument supporting Thika's application is that many of the statutory requirements are already visible. Population is among the easiest to access. The Urban Areas and Cities Act requires a municipality seeking city status to satisfy a prescribed population threshold, Beyond numbers, however, it must also demonstrate economic viability, institutional capacity, integrated planning, environmental management, revenue generation, infrastructure, public services, as well as room for future expansion. On nearly every indicator, Thika presents a compelling case. Its industrial base is among the largest outside Nairobi. For decades, the town has hosted major manufacturers involved in food processing, edible oils, paper products, chemicals, packaging, construction materials, as well as consumer goods. Large employers continue to anchor the local economy while attracting supporting businesses in logistics, finance, and retail. Education has also become a major economic pillar. Institutions such as Mount Kenya University, Gretsa University, and several technical colleges generate demand for housing, transport, and commercial services throughout the year. Its strategic locations along the A2 highway, which is the Thika superhighway, places it among or within one of the Kenya's busiest transport corridor, allowing industries to access Nairobi, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, as well as inland markets with relative ease. Collectively, these factors strengthen the municipality's capacity to generate revenue independently, which is a critical legal requirement for the city's status. Let's now look at the infrastructure, which is the strong foundation as well as the persistent gaps. If economic activity strongly favors Thika elevation, infrastructure presents a more nuanced picture. Road connectivity remains one of the municipality's greatest strengths. The Thika superhighway transformed travel between Nairobi and Thika, reducing travel time while encouraging residential and commercial expansion. Reliable electricity, telecommunication, and financial services have similarly supported industrial investment. Water supply has improved considerably compared with previous decades, although population growth continues to place constraints on distribution systems. Healthcare and education facilities have expanded alongside private sector investment, yet city status also exposes weaknesses. Traffic congestion within the CBD has become increasingly common. Informal trading continues to occupy pedestrian spaces. Drainage systems remain inadequate in some neighboring neighborhoods during heavy rainfall. Waste management has improved but continues to face constraint from rapid urban growth. These shortcomings do not necessarily disqualify Thika. Instead, they illustrate an important principle of urban development. Cities are designed not because they are perfect, but because they possess the institutional capacity to address increasingly complex urban challenges. Now, what about revenue? Can Thika as a city sustain itself? Perhaps the least discussed requirement is financial sustainability. Cities require substantially greater administrative capacity than municipalities. They must maintain roads, parks, drainage systems, public spaces, waste management, planning functions, emergency services, as well as environmental management on the much larger scale. That demands reliable revenue. Thika appears relatively well positioned. Its extensive industrial sector provides business permits, land rates, commercial activities capable of supporting municipal financing. Commercial property values have increased steadily over the past decade, expanding the local revenue base. Unlike many municipalities dependent primarily on county transfers, Thika possesses a comparative diversified economic structure. That financial reliance became one of the strengths highlighted during the assessment process. Now, where does Thika fit within Kenya urban hierarchy? If the charter is issued, Thika will become Kenya's sixth city. Yet, unlike Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, and Eldoret, its identity is unique. It's neither a political capital nor a coastal port or a regional headquarter. Instead, it has evolved into an industrial city, closely integrated with the Nairobi metropolitan region. Urban planners increasingly describe Thika not as a competing center to Nairobi, but as a part of growing metropolitan ecosystem extending through Ruiru, Juja, Kiambu, and neighboring urban centers. This integration creates opportunities. It also raises planning challenges. Without coordinated metropolitan transport, housing, as well as environmental planning, rapid expansion risks increasing congestion rather than reducing it. So what changes once Thika is granted a city status? One misconception deserves correction. City status does not automatically deliver new roads, hospitals, or industries. Those still require planning, financing, and implementation. What changes immediately is governance. The city operates under charter with stronger institutional structures, enhanced planning responsibilities, and greater national and international visibility. That recognition often improves investor confidence. International development agencies, financiers, private investors frequently view city status as evidence of administrative maturity and long-term planning stability. While not guaranteed of investment, it strengthens a municipality ability to compete for capital. So who benefits with these uh, city status? Residents stand to gain through better urban planning, stronger service delivery frameworks, as well as potentially increased investment. Businesses may benefit from improved branding, greater investor interest, and stronger infrastructure planning. The county government benefits through enhanced regional competitiveness. Nationally, another city broadens Kenya urban network, reducing constraint on Nairobi while supporting balanced regional development. Universities, industrial parks, logistics companies, financial institutions, and property developers are also likely to be beneficiaries. City branding alone tends to increase commercial interest in land as well as industrial investment. Then, who could potentially lose? Urban transformation rarely produces only winners. Property values often rise following city designation. Higher land prices can translate into the increased rents and commercial lease cost. Small businesses operating informally may face stricter enforcement of planning regulations. Developers could benefit substantially while lower income households experience affordability constraint. The municipality itself also assumes greater responsibilities. Failure to improve service delivery after receiving city status would expose administrators to greater public scrutiny. In other words, city status raises expectation as more as it raises prestige. Now, let's look beyond prestige, the real test. Perhaps the greatest misconception surrounding Thika bid is that the city status represents the destination. It is not. It is the beginning. Around Africa, numerous cities continue to struggle with congestion, inadequate drainage, informal settlement, and strained public services despite their legal designation. Conversely, some municipalities provide better quality of life than formally recognized cities. The charter, therefore, offers opportunity, not success. Success depends upon governance of after the charter, planning discipline, investment on infrastructure, financial management, environmental protection, public participation, among other factors. So those factors, not the titles itself, will determine whether Thika becomes a genuinely competitive Africa secondary city. Now, a critical assessment. Measured against legal framework, Thika has assembled one of the strongest applications presented by any municipality in recent years. Its industrial economy, strategic location, expanding population, institutional frameworks, and revenue-generating capacity provide a credible basis for elevation. However, legal compliance should not be confused with urban readiness. The municipality continues to grapple with congestions, constraints on public utilities, informal trading, stormwater management, as well as uneven service delivery. Challenges common to rapidly urbanizing centers. City status will not resolve these issues overnight. In some cases, it may magnify them by attracting additional population, investment, as well as development constraint. The greater risk lies not in granting city status, but in assigning or assuming that the charter itself is development. It is not. A city charter creates a governance framework, but it does not build roads, expand sewer networks, or enforce planning regulations. Those outcomes depend on political commitment, fiscal discipline, and long-term urban development. In that sense, the debate should no longer focus on whether Thika deserves to become a city. The evidence presented to the Senate suggests that it does. The more consequential question is whether its institutions are prepared to govern at a scale that matches the ambitions attached to the title. The story of Thika is in many ways the story of Kenya's urban transition. What was once known primarily as an industrial town on the edge of Nairobi has evolved into a regional economic center with growing influence in manufacturing, education, commerce, as well as logistics. Its application for city status is therefore less about changing its identity than acknowledging how profoundly that identity has already changed. If the president signs the city charter, Thika will enter Kenya's highest tier of urban centers, but the significance of that moment will extend beyond ceremony. It will test whether the legal recognition can be matched by stronger planning, accountable governance, and sustained investment. The charter may open new doors, attract investors, as well as enhance town's profile, but it will also place Thika under greater public scrutiny. From that point onward, residents will judge the city not by the title it has earned, but by the quality of life it delivers. So thank you for reaching this far. If you are here for the first time, please consider subscribing to this channel. You can also watch other videos that we have made on other cities or other municipalities that have become cities in Kenya: Nakuru, Kisumu, and Eldoret. You can also leave a comment, like, and share. So thank you, and let's meet in the next one.